Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome everybody to the study session of August the 26th, prior to our formal meeting upstairs. All of our council is present. The first item on our agenda for this meeting is to review our agenda for tonight's regular council meeting upstairs. So council, please refer to that document. Currently, we do have, I think, 3 or 4 items off with the consent. Any questions from council regarding anything that's off of the consent agenda that you'd like more information on, or perhaps a presentation on? Just for the record, already off of the consent agenda are a couple of redevelopment projects, Encore, and the in downtown Mesa, and also the Grace property at Alma School in Southern, as well as a zoning case, the Lehigh Cove project at Gilbert Road in the 202. So those are the items that are currently off the consent for public hearings. Currently, everything else is on. Any questions or concerns about anything on the consent agenda? Okay. Hearing none, the next item on the agenda for this meeting is item 2. That's to hear a presentation and discuss the new neighborhood leadership program. We've got 3 of our great neighborhood services staff members. They're going to help us through this. Welcome, ladies.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Ruth Giese, Community Services Director. With me, I have Cynthia Oscura and Lindsay Belinky, 2 of our Neighborhood Services Coordinators. Today, we will be talking about our new Neighborhood Leadership Program. Community Services has had successful programs in the past, including our Building Stronger Neighborhoods and our You Connect Mesa program. While those are now retired, we are moving to new services with a focus on building neighborhood leadership. Before I get to that, I wanted to acknowledge the great work that our community engagement team has done with building Mesa leaders and engagement capacity over 20 plus years now. Through the neighborhood registration program, we have 575 total registered neighborhoods currently. We're always adding on to those. The way that we work with neighborhood leaders is ever evolving. Our approach is multifaceted, and each neighborhood has different needs depending upon who the neighborhood leader is and how well established the neighborhood is. And in response to the changing needs, we have developed a neighborhood leadership program that will complement the other programs that we have. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cynthia, who will discuss our new programming.
Thank you, Ruth. Good evening, Mayor, Council. So we've created a multi-layer approach to support Council's transforming neighborhoods priority by creating a neighborhood leadership program. We want to inform, connect, and inspire residents so they feel empowered to take action in their neighborhoods. Our program today has been designed to meet these goals. One of the key components of our leadership program is our classes, which we'll be calling our Residents Guide to Mesa series. There will be 4 different classes offered in these series. One of the classes offered is Residents Guide to Taking Care of Your Neighborhood. This particular class will be offered twice a year. This class will be teaching participants how to take care of their properties and how to use city resources to maintain their neighborhoods. We will be showing how easy it is to use city apps to report issues and practice it right there in the class. They will be able to apply these resources in their own neighborhoods. We will provide shareable information for participants to post and give to their neighbors after class related to what they've learned in those classes. Our Residents Guide to Building Community in your neighborhood is 2 times a year. This class will be supporting participants in taking a leadership role within their own neighborhood. Participants will leave this class with an action plan for creating a neighborhood event or gathering such as a neighborhood social, a block watch, speed hump petition, or even a neighborhood cleanup. We are hoping to initiate more activity within their neighborhoods. Participants will have access to key staff from multiple departments to have that one-on-one time if needed. Then we'll have a resident's guide to becoming a community advocate. That class will also be offered twice a year. This class is about empowering participants to take action on leadership roles outside of their neighborhood and into the community. They will learn the impact of serving on advisory boards or community boards. We will discuss how city operates and how to provide public input. This class will be held in the council chambers to familiarize attendees with the space and participation in public meetings. We will inform on important initiatives impacting the city, such as our Census 2020. Our residence guide to HOA will be held 3 times a year. This training is for board members or residents that live within an HOA, covering important topics related to management and community cohesiveness. This class is in collaboration with local HOA law firms who donate their time and areas of expertise to teach these classes. We have been offering these classes already, and they have been well attended. Class topics have been selected based on the participant feedback, so we take into account what they've said, what they want to hear, and we offer those classes. In total, we will be offering 9 classes per year, and we will be tracking the outputs and outcomes of all of our classes. We have a comprehensive marketing and campaign going to invite all Mesa residents as well as our neighborhood leaders. We will include a new method of working with our city departments by providing them with handouts or flyers while working with customers or clients, and for the field workers out in the field, for those clients who have questions or not too familiar with any of our services, they will be provided the opportunity to attend any of our classes. Lindsay?
Hello, Mayor and council members. So in addition to the classes that Cynthia described, we're really also excited to provide some events and some virtual support for our neighborhood leaders and Mesa residents. We are starting off in a couple of weeks. We're kicking off our Let's Get Quizzical weekly Mesa trivia on nextdoor.com. So this will be weekly interactions where we can really educate Mesa residents. There are right now 80,000 Mesa residents that use Nextdoor, and that's compared, just for reference, to about 20,000 that are on Facebook. So we find this as a really helpful tool to get word out to the community, and we want to engage residents in a different way. So we've reached out to all the different departments for trivia ideas, and we're sharing fun facts and informational tidbits about different things that are happening in the department. So we're pushing out, if there's a common issue that's happening, we can use it as a trivia opportunity to educate and just engage with people in a little bit different way. Example of questions would be, who maintains the alley behind your home, which is a common question that we get in the outreach office, as well as, I'm sure, in code. Or which container would you place your plastic candy wrappers in? So make it seasonal around Halloween or whatever the case may be. And we've already scheduled about 2 months out in advance to get started in a couple of weeks. So we're excited about that. We are also offering a Facebook group. So we're starting the Mesa Neighborhood Network, which will be a virtual platform where residents can share best practices, troubleshoot issues they might be having in their neighborhood, talk about neighborhood challenges and share successes, and hopefully find peer mentors on our group. We will invite class attendees to be part of this group, as well as our registered neighborhood leaders. And we're hearing from Nate Kelly that Facebook groups are really an emerging trend in government social media, so we're excited to be part of that. We are also offering some in-person events. So the Leaders Dinner and Dialogue event is an opportunity for neighborhood and community leaders to learn from each other. We will be guiding some of the dialogues along the way and spurring on communication between the leaders. We'll invite attendees from our classes and our registered leaders again to be part of this event. And we're hoping that they start to form some in-person, face-to-face relationships that then they carry on into the Facebook group and have that network to continue those relationships and do some peer mentoring. And then finally, we have our Good Neighbor Awards celebration. So this will be one time a year. And this recognizes neighborhoods, leaders, and community good deeds. We're creating a I Love Mesa Ambassadors recognition for this event. So that may be folks that attend several of our classes, or maybe you have a neighborhood leader that you know that has gone above and beyond that you could recommend for that type of recognition too. We would welcome that. And we will also recognize Nextdoor.com Good Neighbor nominations. So we did this last year where individuals can recommend their neighbors or someone. Sometimes they didn't even know each other, we found, that they had just interacted on Nextdoor and had a very positive interaction or helpful communication, and they were nominating folks like that. So we saw a lot of nice stories and made good connections with our residents in that way too. So we'll continue to do that, as well as having a drawing for an honoree at this event to receive a free little library, which I'm a fan of. So for the fiscal year 1920, this is our proposed program menu. And in addition to the program that we've described tonight, we will continue to offer all the normal services that you know and are familiar with, the Mesa Little Libraries, neighborhood registration. We will continue to support community projects and citywide initiatives, help individual residents with problem solving and neighborhoods with conflict resolution, as well as provide internal training and support for city departments. We've provided an overview of our working timeline. We do plan to launch our program in September. So there you will see our first HOA class on the 10th of September, and we'll be kicking off the trivia and the Facebook group as well. And then moving into October and the fall, we'll be launching our other classes. And these classes will be offered, we plan to market them to citywide. So all Mesa residents will be invited to attend any of the classes that they're interested in. But we do plan to host them throughout the city and make sure that we touch every council district with an event and or class. And we will certainly invite mayor and council members to attend those classes.
So Mayor and Council, this concludes our presentation, and if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. I know this has been something I've heard several council members, Ms. Duff, for example, mention as a priority, so we appreciate it. I'm sure we've got lots of questions here. Mr. Thompson?
So we've been doing something similar to this for about 3 years on District 6, and really it was aimed at getting to the gist of what is making the community tick. And we did, we pushed out a survey, a really easy, quick survey to find out, for example, we'd ask questions like, do you feel safe in your neighborhood after dark? Do you feel safe walking in your neighborhood after dark? Two separate items. If they answered no, then, you know, from a council standpoint, why is it that they don't feel comfortable walking in their neighborhood at night? Is it something to do with lighting? Is it something to do with crime? Is it something that maybe they just, their perception of something? But really, when we talk about getting into neighborhoods and networking and forming an advocacy group, to me, there has to be meat and potatoes as to why we're doing it. If we're going to get people together, let's get people together to find out what their issues are. And from a council perspective, what can we do to make our community better for those individuals? You know, I think another question we asked was, if you were offered 20% more for your house today than what you bought it for, would you take it? Would you sell and move? Because that tells you if somebody's vested in our community or if they're not vested in our community. If they're willing to up and leave our community because somebody's going to offer them 20% more than what they paid, then obviously they're not tied to our community and they're not willing to establish roots. And so to me, it's when we're looking at putting together a leadership program, it really should be what we're calling ours is a Congress of Neighborhoods, and it literally is an ability to have, you know, one or two advocates from every neighborhood throughout the district that has a seat at the table. And so they can come in and we can talk about the issues that they're having. And, you know, an issue that one neighborhood's having, another neighborhood may have already had and has solved that issue. And so it's an opportunity to collaborate, and instead of reinventing the wheel, they're sitting down and having that conversation about how they work through their issues. And a lot of times it's just simply because they don't know what services the city offers. And so if you give them that information, you know, they'll run with it. And so, you know, from looking at, you know, developing a neighborhood leadership program, I would really like to see something along those lines as far as, you know, help us as council identify those needs within our district that we should be working on, not just rolling out and telling everybody how great a place Mesa is, and here's all these services that we can offer. So for me, I would like to have a little more meat and potatoes to it so that I can understand where exactly is my community at and what's going on.
Thank you. Other comments? I'm sorry, Mr.
No, it's
Luna.
okay. I raised my
I was
hand.
looking
No,
to the right.
No problem. So actually, I've attended several meetings. I know I was with Cynthia at the public safety facility where she had an attorney speak to issues related to laws and what neighborhoods could do. And I've also attended the one at the park with next door. It was a real positive event. What are you doing in terms of reaching some of our Spanish-speaking residents in terms of building these neighborhood leadership programs?
Councilmember Luna, like I said, we are going to make sure that we market this for all our Mesa residents. We will have the opportunity for them to RSVP, and we will offer classes in Spanish, and if they need special accommodations for ADA or our Spanish-speaking residents, we will have the capability and the tools and everyone there to help assist them as well. So it's going to be open to everyone.
So I'd like to encourage you to attend the Latino Town Hall, that we would have a captive audience where you would let the community know that this activity is taking place and hopefully build some leadership and attract more people to be part of your program.
Yes,
And
yes.
Latino Town Hall is like at the end of October.
Right, right. That's a great opportunity. And we're looking at all the different ways, like I said, that we can spread the word. We'll go through our normal channels through Constant Contacts and our neighborhood newsletter and through Nextdoor and through Facebook, but as well as some of these community events, like you just said, and using our city departments, especially our field workers. They come across people that are asking them questions all the time on where do I get this, and work with code and making sure that they have these flyers to give to the residents to tell them about these upcoming classes.
Great, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Jen?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much for taking this on and revamping our outreach to our neighborhoods. I know I've shared with you, but just to share in general, of course, I was campaigning recently, and I would spend, I knocked on probably 7,000 doors, and I would spend half of my time, you know, connecting neighbors who weren't the ones who were, you know, reaching out to the city. And I would spend half my time informing them of the services and how much assistance we did have. And they would also inform me of issues in their neighborhood. So I appreciate the opportunity to inform them. I understand this first level is the basics of all the services and assistance we have. We have a feedback mechanism so that we're listening to them to see if there's any holes from what I understand in my conversations with you. And then the building community in your neighborhood is for those projects in which they don't know how to connect, how to get done, and maybe we can assist them and bring their neighborhood to the next level beyond just finding their code compliance or the police officer and the things that they need and the basics. But in District 4, we have a lot of challenged neighborhoods. So I know in empowering our residents to really take hold of where they need help, get that information into their neighborhoods, and start taking steps to take their neighborhoods back sometimes in challenging situations. So I really appreciate this, and I'm open arms to be of any assistance, and I will be attending some of the events so that we can reevaluate this. And of course, we want to encourage people to get involved at the city level so they can advocate on our boards and other committees. So thank you very much for taking this on and really making a huge difference. You do wonderful work already, and I think this will, I know for my district, make a lot of difference.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
Mr. Freeman?
yeah, thank you. Ruth and Cynthia and Lindsay, thank you for all you're doing. I know I've worked with Cynthia for many years in the neighborhoods that I participate in. But I had one of the same questions as Councilmember Luna, making sure reaching out bilingually to our resident population. And I was thinking, are there any other languages that we need to reach out to that we're not keyed into? So that would be one of my thoughts. I think the programs you've stated are a great start. And it'd be really great for District 1 because we're a very diverse district, a lot of different populations in our area. But then I was thinking about, can you clone yourselves? Because I think we need like 6 or 8 more of you.
I think that's against city policy.
What, the cloning or just putting?
Cloning.
Yeah.
We can clone and we can pay them the same as we are now. That'd be
Well, I'm
awesome.
okay with that. Just have to do twice the work.
We can change policies.
But I was just thinking about that. I mean, you have a lot of work in front of you, and I appreciate all you're going to do. So, and you have my support. Thank you.
Thank you. It's going to be a great opportunity. We've have a combined over 24 years of working with our Mesa neighborhoods, and we know, growing up here in Mesa, we know our neighborhoods well. We went through the survey process and everything, so we can go into a neighborhood and pretty much know exactly what the needs are before we even step in there. So these classes are great because it's going to empower people to be the next step and leaders and do good things in their neighborhood. So we're excited.
So, Mayor, can I expand upon that? Because I think that's maybe not so subtle, but a significant change from what we're proposing, from what's happening before. So in the previous, and this has evolved over the last 10 years, but in the previous program, which we called when we go out to
Building strong neighborhoods.
Building stronger neighborhoods, we would go out with the flyers, the surveys, we'd have the meeting where we would organize groups around different categories of projects and co-compliance and public
Action
safety.
teams.
But it was really, as much as we tried to get the community to participate, and they did, it was very much staff-led, right? And there was a lot of effort, which was fine, and we were able to do that. But I think the feedback we got from council was that helps, but it only kind of like, maybe it helps one little area for a while. And our capacity, as you know, and we'd sit down and say, okay, you get to pick one area in your district this year. I mean, it wasn't very, I mean, it was great. It was a concentrated effort, but it wasn't able to really magnify that across the district. So the feedback we felt like we received from the council was, let's find a way to maybe magnify that good work with this idea that we bring the residents, the neighborhood, the neighbors, the community members into these kind of empowerment sessions where we inform them, kind of as if we go back to that first slide, the inform, connect, and inspire. I think that's a really kind of summarizes very well what this program is about, is we want to take everyone in the city, right? And regardless, not just picking one little designated area, but throughout the whole community, and get them informed, get them connected with each other, and these ladies will obviously do the inspiring, will do great. But this way, we hope that all the good work that we've done before in building stronger neighborhoods will now maybe take off, because it'll be driven by, I guess, what we kind of an organic standpoint from the grassroots, because we can now, we don't have to limit the areas where the community wants to work on, because we have neighbors that are informed. They can go do the organizing, they can assist, and we can use the expertise of the community services to really go out and develop the future leaders and the neighborhood leaders who can take these on and support them in doing that. That's, I think, our goal. And the goal is to, I think we said it, or we talked about the different classes, but the goal is there isn't really a particular order anyone has to go through, but we want to encourage them to go through as many of these as possible, because we think once they've gone through all these, maybe not everybody's going to do the homeowner association, then we think that they will have the information they need to go into back to their neighborhoods, and maybe they can do a better job or not better job, but they can then take that and organize their community and around a project. Now, we'll stay connected with them. We're not just going to let them hanging out there, but our goal is to try to touch more neighborhoods and inform them with these series of classes than what we're currently doing. What we're currently doing is great, but it's kind of like a high impact in a very small area. And I think after doing that, how many years did we do that for?
11.
11. I mean, it's been wonderful, but again, if we were to go and add up all the geographic area, it'd probably be fairly limited, I would suspect, for the whole city. So that's kind of the, I guess, change in this. I don't know if it's more of how can we get the resources of the people in the community, get them engaged, and then maybe all this, the same kind of work can happen at a larger scale. That's, I think, is that fair?
Yep.
The philosophy we're trying to look for.
Great.
I would
Yes.
like just to add one more point to the revamp of this program, is that it does cross-collaborate, it does network neighborhood leaders from various parts, so they can share their stories, share their concerns, find out what's working, what's not, and how. So there is, before, we were working neighborhood by neighborhood by neighborhood, but I see the strength in being able to have these ongoing conversations well after the classes and the groups, and whenever we come together, is for these neighbors to talk about how the projects that they were able to take on, or the differences they were able to take on in their neighborhood to make a difference. And I think knowing collectively they can have that conversation and, rise together, and so to speak, especially even neighboring neighborhoods, where when they know they're both working on the same issue or a similar problem, that they can make that difference for the area. Thank you.
I just want to say amen. I think this is going in a good direction. I think the meetings we've had previous to this have been great, but I think a lot of us have been at some of those meetings where we look around and the city staff to citizen ratio is not what we'd like it to be. And it might be because we are maybe focusing on too small a geographic area, and for whatever reason, it wasn't marketed as, I don't know. But I over the weekend, I had a conversation with somebody who was super excited to attend a city meeting tomorrow night, that was for an outreach program. And it struck me that there's a lot of people in this city that are very passionate about getting involved in the city and being involved in their neighborhoods. And so I think the potential for, I'm glad we're doing 9 of these. I'm glad we're on a citywide basis so that all of these enthusiastic people don't feel like, well, I'm not going to that one because that's for not for my neighborhood, right? So, so I think these are all great improvements in the way we've done it over the past. The fact that we have 575 registered neighborhoods, did I hear that correctly? Yes. If we market to those, to the 80,000 folks on Nextdoor. If you think of all the alumni we have from Mesa Leadership or from Police Citizens Academy, or all the folks that have already outed themselves as being passionate about being involved in our community, and we offered these classes up on these very timely topics, I could picture really a crowded room every time we do this, and that's as it should be, isn't it? So I know that's your goal, and I know you mentioned that at the very beginning of your presentation that you've got a marketing plan in place, and so some of these ideas I'm sure you've already thought of the fact that we've already got literally thousands of people in our city that have already stepped up and said, I'm passionate about being involved in the community. If we invite them, I think a lot of them will come, won't they?
And Mayor and Council, I also wanted to add that we are going to offer it to city staff as well, especially folks that might want to learn more. They either live in Mesa themselves or that they get, asked questions about city resources that they might not know everything. So they're interested in maybe taking classes as well.
Great. All right, well, I think this is great work. Thank you, ladies. Any other questions for these folks? All right, thank you very much. So you'll let us know when the first meeting is, right?
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda for this meeting is item 3. That's to hear reports on meetings and conferences attended. Council, anything you'd like to share with us? Yes, Mr. Luna.
Several of us attended the Arizona League meeting in Tucson. Great conference and great sessions. Mr. Brady conducted a session on cancer risk and public personnel best practices. It was really informative. I learned about the turnouts. I didn't know anything about turnouts with our fire personnel. And that's the study related to the contamination that fire personnel are exposed to on any time they go to a fire. So it was very, very informative, so I appreciate that. I attended the Board of Mayors Conference that you facilitated. That was quite informative. Again, the Board of Mayors worked to demystify fallacies related to immigration and border. And then there were representatives from Customs and Border Protection. And then I attended the Arizona joint meeting with border mayors from Mexico and Arizona. It was well attended. We had around 125 participants. It was great. And our discussion centered on transportation, sister cities, and tourism. In fact, our sister city from Guaymas wants to formalize the relationship they have with us. And we had a representative from the governor's office that wants to invite the governor to sign an MOU with the city of Mesa, and because we're a model of what the Sister City program is all about. So be expecting a call from Saravaya, the president municipal from Guaymas, and as well as maybe the governor's office to hold that session. So great conference.
Great. I agree. It was a great conference. I got a lot out of being there. I attended the classes you mentioned earlier, and thought Mr. Brady did a great job representing us in that one seminar. Other items, gentlemen? Yes, ladies. Mr. Thompson.
I attended the ASU Congressional Conference on Water Resilience and Security today out at ASU. It was a really good discussion. A lot of the key players in the water world and academia, as well as the state and local levels as well. So talked about everything from the lower Colorado basins and all the users to forest health and economic development and so forth. So it was a really good conference. It was an all-day conference. So I've been out there since early this morning, but it was a well put together conference.
Thank you. Other events?
Jen represented us with a flag.
Yes, at
Thank
the
you.
conference
Thank you
last
for
week
carrying
at
the flag,
Arizona League of Cities and Towns. I did carry the Mesa flag, stood for the city. But when I wanted to mention, I attended many of the conferences, a great amount of information, but I wanted to tell everybody about an exciting logo that we had in on the last day, last evening, there's a showcase of cities, and each city has, it almost feels like tourism, what they do and everything. We had a Made in Mesa, and we showcased, we're giving away some salsa made right down here on Main and Horn. And we had showcased some of our businesses where they are making their unique goods right here in Mesa and taking pride in that. It was a lot of fun. In addition, over the weekend, I did attend the Human Relations Advisory Board Strategic Planning. They're doing all kinds of good work, and they'll be bringing forward to council in probably October of some of the projects they're working on. I attended the United Food Bank Fit and Feed Expo. Had fitness gurus and all kinds of nutrition, and you could work out too, and pack 1,000 bags of food for those in need, which we did. And Atomic Age Modern, right here on Main Street, celebrated their first birthday on Saturday. So I think that's about it.
Great. Thank you. Anything else? I had a fun weekend as well. On Friday, no, actually Saturday, I attended a couple of great events. Sunshine, Arizona was an event that was at the Mesa Convention Center. It was a huge human service agency open house. And so literally hundreds, or I would say maybe thousands of folks that needed services like, vision screening and dental exams. There were people that walked in and walked out with full sets of dentures, in one day, eyeglasses for hundreds of people. A lot of really essential services for folks who needed assistance. This was a wonderful event. I've never seen, the comment I made was I've never seen the Mesa Convention Center put to better use, because it was wall-to-wall people that were helping and receiving help. The SDA, Seventh-day Adventist congregation, really kind of took the lead on putting this together. So thank you to them for really a wonderful event on both Saturday and Sunday this last weekend. Also on Saturday, I appreciate Senator Kirsten Sinema came to Mesa and met with the Haas Trail Alliance. These are the folks that are publicizing, what we can do to to develop further the Haas Trail, which is a great hiking and biking amenity that's just on the edge of Mesa on the Tonto National Forest. And because it's on federal property, obviously getting our congressional delegation involved in that was important. So I appreciated the senator coming out and going for a bike ride and seeing what the potential for the development of that amenity was. And then Sunday, I was pleased, Hillsong Church in Mesa is a large congregation that many people are aware of. On Sunday, they opened Hillsong College on the campus there at University just east of Horn. This is essentially a theology college, but it's going to grow to 800 students that are going to be attending school there in downtown Mesa, many of them living in the apartment complexes near Pioneer Park and around the school. It's a very enthusiastic, very service-oriented group of people that we're going to have hundreds of them in our downtown, looking for ways to volunteer and to be a blessing in the lives of people's lives. So I thought that was really exciting. Look forward to all the good work that they're going to do in our community. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about those things. Anything else we'd like to go over before we conclude this meeting? Mr. Brady, what does our schedule look like?
Well, Mayor, we have this Thursday, August 29th, but we don't have an agenda to review because of Labor Day, so we push that off. So I would recommend we not meet this Thursday, August 29th, because Monday is Labor Day, so we don't need to have that meeting on Thursday. So we'll see you a week from this Thursday, so that would be September 7th? Jill, what is it? 5th, sorry.
5th, okay. Okay, great. We'll be back on the 5th then. If there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? Thank you very much. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.